Where there is darkness for all, the light will shine upon us one day. Where there are evil lies, the truth will be shown sooner than later. We all want to know what is real rather than be shown the path of what is fake. The light, the truth, the reality is being revealed around the world now. You're listening to the Frontline Patriots with Matthew McDonald.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is yours truly. My name is Matthew McDonald, and I just want to let you guys know thank you for the support and everything. I wouldn't be here without you guys and making this new podcast. I appreciate those who are new and welcome. So, let's get started with this intro about myself. The ones that know me, you already know. The ones that are new, get ready, because we got about 42 minutes of this. And we're just basically shooting the shit in this first episode. Only because, I think an introduction is on point when making a new podcast. A lot of people just kind of dive right in, which is fine. That's what they want to do. But for me, I think it's a good idea to let the listeners get to know who they're listening to. So, let's get started, shall we? Well, I was born and raised in Dallas, Texas. I have two siblings. I'm the middle child, the black sheep. So, yeah, I have a clear driver's record as well. I have two girls. And I'm separated, but I love my kids very much. Everything is the way it is, right? We move forward, co-parenting, stuff like that, right? Well, I grew up with friends in elementary school, and I still talk to them to this day. Grew up with them since the second grade, actually, pretty far back, yeah, pretty crazy. My thoughts on making this podcast, the name Frontline Patriots, right? So, the reason why I came up with this name was, patriotism. Patriotism is everywhere, right? We can all agree to this, regardless where you come from, stuff like that. We all want to stand for what we believe in, right? In our country. And that's fine. That shouldn't be bashed on. Unless, you hurt women and children and eat dogs and cats, then that's a no-no. So, but anyways, I think that everybody should be heard. This is why I'm making this podcast as well. I think everybody has their freedom of speech, right? I don't believe in hate speech. I don't even, when I was growing up, I'd never even heard of such thing until I don't even know. So hearing all this stuff for a few years about hate speech and everything, I mean, come on now. That's crazy. We're going to be talking about all kinds of stuff in this podcast. Um, and I think that, I seek the truth. I get my resources from many places. You got to be very careful on your research. So we all got to remember that one. I mean, the whole Joe Rogan thing, the misinformation and all that. I think a lot of people need to give him some slack because he's had a lot of proof on there, a lot of doctors, a lot of all kinds of people that I mean have degrees in this, right? So how can you sit there and tell him that there's some false information or something? We all make mistakes. We're only human. And I don't think we should blow this up. I really, I really think we shouldn't blow a lot of things up, even buildings. But yeah, I believe that I am not full blown liberal. I am not a full blown leftist. I'm not a full blown conservative. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just seek the truth in general. Like, don't get me wrong. I mean, I believe in the freedom of people having their human rights, right? Just their God-given rights is what they say. And, that's usually an okay in everybody else's book, right? In everybody's book, as long as you word it like that and that's what you believe in, you're good in the world. But a lot of people, on the other hand, don't believe in that. They want to take over the world, make it globalism, fascism, all that kinds of stuff. And that is definitely a huge no-no. So these are the things that I would love to talk about. And oh God, we're going to be talking about Joe Biden till the day he dies, I believe. Till the day he dies. So, so with that being said, I hope y'all are getting a sense of where I'm coming from on who I am so far. Because, I've come from a family that was poor, okay? And so I've been from the very bottom. But if you came from the very bottom, the only direction from there is up, okay? And that's other things that I'm going to be talking about in my podcast as well. I mean, there's going to be bits of everything. It's just life, right? I mean, politics run life basically. If you want things to go well, then you better vote. That's what I think. You want a good leader for this country, and you want our borders to be secure. You want our actual human rights to stay in play, and then you gotta pay attention, guys. You gotta pay attention, because if you don't, this is the exact proof right here on the reason why a lot of people have gotten too comfortable, why social media has made people too comfortable to not vote. Because of this right here, Joe Biden, right here, guys. So we gotta take a stand, right? I'm loving what they're doing in Canada, okay, with the convoys and all that stuff, of truckers and all that. And I'm hearing there's a convoy coming out to here in the United States, out in Washington. They're planning something, and they just got their Facebook banned. I mean, that's ridiculous, man. How hard they are trying, how hard the leftists are trying, man. I think that's ridiculous. So we're going to be talking more about these things, and Ukraine, you know? I We're being sidelined right now, like with them, with the leftists saying that they're going to send, I forgot how many troops, thousands of troops over there. It's crazy. Not much, but it's what Joe Biden says. Not much, but that's thousands of troops regardless. That's still a pretty good handful, and I disagree with that. We shouldn't be sending any troops out there. I believe that we should be sending troops to our other borders and helping out Border Patrol. That's what we should be doing. That's what we should be focusing on. Because if we get it, like, listen, guys, if we were to go into war with Russia, then China's going to step in, of course. They've been talking, and they're trying to make amends between each other, make allies between each other, which would cause a huge headache and a war, and that should not be done. Because the minute that happens, guess what? Overnight, we're going to be the poorest country ever. And people need to understand that. Wage gaps, we're going to be talking about that too. I mean, a lot of people, they don't understand the how it works with the wage gaps, because once you change wage gaps, everything else goes up. And a lot of people don't think that. They're just kind of ignorant in that department. And that's okay. We're all here to learn. It's called constructive criticism. And if you take constructive criticism offensively, then you don't belong on this show. I don't think that you belong anywhere, really. If you can't be constructive and have constructive criticism in your life and take it as it is from your loved ones, your family, your friends, anybody that if you get offended by it, then, you're alone. You're just alone. So, yeah, these are a lot of things I do, follow Joe Rogan. I do follow Steve Crowder. Shout out to those guys. Not trying to veer credit off from this show. Just saying that, they're my heroes. They're a lot of people's heroes. And that's what they made me want to come here today and make my own podcast. On top of that, I was in another podcast with my brother. I don't know if y'all heard of High Society. Basically, the picture that you see now here on Spreaker, that's or anywhere else really, was part of our cover of our old podcast. I just kind of cropped myself out of it. There was a little spat between us, but that's okay. He's living his life, I'm living mine. That's just the way it happens. It's whatever. Doesn't mean that I don't love him and I don't support his ideas or anything like that. He's very, very, behind on my ideology and my ways of thinking. So if you're wondering the way he thinks, that's it there. And also you can listen to our old podcast. It's still up. Some of them are, but not all of them. But if you want to go ahead and listen on there, just go ahead and look for us. I forgot where, but it's not hard to find. If you see my picture, what it is right now, of my character, cartoon me, then you'll be able to find us pretty quick. But I learned a lot since then. That was back in 2018. So a lot's happened, guys. And we also want to do a recap on everything with just starting from 2020, man. Excuse me. Starting from 2020, the pandemic, market crash. It's wow.